our second edition or episode of the workshop, Fall Lines. Today we are making the Jammah. And the Jammah, such a cute name, is a cardigan that I love. It is a very simple piece to make. It can be as detailed, as raw as you want. There's a lot of options with this piece. It's got a nice inset sleeve, and it's got its opening. So it's almost like a layover piece, with the opening. But I call it the throw-on cardigan because you can really just throw it on over a lot of different things. Something like a tank or a sleeveless top or dress over your t-shirt just for another extra layer. And then you have the opening that shows off whatever you're wearing underneath. And then we made a really fun pair of pants that are similar to the Michaela pant, except it doesn't have the yoke in the front. And again, the wide leg pant, but we wanted to share that, not everybody likes that yoke there. The other thing we did here is, this episode is about stitching. So we've got a lot of zigzag stitching on these pants across the seam line. So all you do is you stitch your seam, and then you run a big wide zigzag stitch across, centered over the seam, and it gives it this lovely look. I know it's on a print, so it's hard to see, but we'll do some close-ups so you can see that. And this fabric is available on Spoonflower. It's one of mine, and I think it's just really a fun fabric. You can make these pants in a floral like this. I think these are really versatile in that they go from spring. You could wear these year-round, these pants, in this kind of a cotton. In choosing a print for the fall or something like transitional like this, I don't like to have a lot of white in the fabric, so if it's creamier, it can run into fall. But if there's too much white, I feel like it's too light. So these have some very dark components in it, which make it perfect for a fall piece. But also you could wear these in the summer with a white tee. So these pants, we're not going to really make them in detail. We did make them in a sweatshirt fabric, and we added a cuff, which we're going to share with you, to just show how versatile this pattern is. It's got the side pockets and the waist, and I think they're just adorable. These are really fun. And then, over with the cardigan, it just adds a lot of flavor. So in making this piece, so we have a back, and then I did this random stitching right across here, some pleated action in here. Just made some little vertical pleats. You don't have to do that. That's the option with it. It's a pretty simple back. It's a slight A-line, and it gives, what I like about the pleats here, it just brings it into the back, so it's not just straight, and it flares out a little bit with the pleats. The front has this opening. This is closed, so you throw it over your head. But you can cut this and add like a little band, much like we did our little cardigan version of the Lizette, and then just add a little few buttons. You could cut this differently and add a tie. You could also omit the whole front cutout and make it a tunic. Very simple, and use the stitching to create some interest in it. And if you see the stitching, and we're going to show you, we've been making a white, creamy white one here, not necessarily for fall, but I wanted to make it in cream because this could be resort when you go on vacation. And then the sleeve is quite a narrow sleeve, and it's in 2 parts. And the other thought here is you can make the sleeve as short as you want or as long as you want. It's in 2 pieces. You could cut it in 1 piece, so don't have a seam there. But in making this garment, we were kind of saving fabric, so that's why that appeared. And it created a detail in the sleeve that's really fun. So that is the cardigan, and I think it's very wearable. It'd be great with the Michaela pants and in different fabrics. So right now we're going to focus on this piece, which is what I've been working on. So we have the back, and the pleats are pinned in place on the back. This is a heavier linen, nice for spring. You could make this for fall in a heavy linen. This is like a 7 ounces, yeah. This is the front that I've already been playing with. Oh, and this pocket we're going to talk about. This here I left very raw. And on this one, the side seams are actually on the outside, which gives it that romantic French log and look thing. Okay, I love raw edges. So, and it's an elegant piece, but with the stitching, it's so fun. And the stitching will show you that it goes back and forth like this. That's all we're doing, is going back and forth. And the pocket is either 1 piece or 2 pieces. Actually, it's 2 pieces. And in this case, so you could just stitch around here like this and keep it raw, and then just cut this through. Or what I did was I stitched it down, and I'll show you the video, and then we have a finished piece, and I stitch the opening like so. So we're going to place our pocket onto the front. Now, in the original, what I did, and this is down to the lower right, you can also see that I did some fun. I just went off the rails here and did some extra little stitching. Now, if you do that, balance out your garment. Instead of putting your pocket on the same side as where you did that detail, rather put it on the other side, because you're going to have detail there and detail here. So it kind of balances it out. Not that I'm like all for symmetry, but it definitely makes a difference. So we're going to place our pocket, and I can either stitch it down with the raw edge is, or I can fold it under and stitch the whole pocket in place so that it's not as raw. However, in this case, because, you know, my name is Tina, I'm going to stitch the top and the bottom down in my wavy way, and then I'm going to stitch the sides down that will be raw. So I'll get a little bit of a clean line on both sides, but then I'm going to have this raw thing going on over here to reflect the rawness, the beautiful rawness of the garment. So we're going to stitch that pocket on, and the placement of that pocket is usually, you know, where I can reach it and not too low. The sleeves are cut in 2 places, and I finished the raw edge on one side, and then I have my other side, my end of my sleeve, that I'm overlapping onto the first piece. So I'm not stitching them right sides together or wrong sides together, so that the pieces can, and that's the alternative, is to stitch this on wrong sides together so that your seam allowance is on the outside of the garment, and then you just top stitch it down. In this case, I wanted to keep it a little flatter, so I did it this way. And then we're going to do our odd stitching down there, and that will create our sleeve. The Jammah was originally designed to have raw edges, and in this version we are doing this sort of easy back and forward motion stitching. It's a decorative stitching so that you get this sort of flavor. And we want to do that. It's just a clever way of stitching the edges so that they don't fray into the garment. And you can see the decorative stitching, which is a really fun way to do this piece. If you can still do the decorative stitching if you put a facing onto this piece. I think it's just so lovely. There's many ways to do the pocket. In this case, I've stitched my triangle for a welt pocket. Now in the original garment, I just cut through this pretty close to the edge, and also did a decorative stitch, which we're going to do anyway. And then left this raw, and then I just stitched the whole thing onto the garment. In this case, I'm doing it a little cleaner. And in this case, I'm cutting, so I'm going into my corners because I'm going to turn this top panel onto the other side. And then you can either place this directly onto the fabric as the instructions show, or you can create a finished edge and place it onto the garment. So let's just tuck that in. To the wrong side. This is so easy. You're going to see a little bit of that black stitching come through because it is black and this is white, and we're tugging on the seams to create that cleaner welt pocket look. Pressed, and you can see my perfect little triangles that I pulled out on either side. You can stitch those down for extra security, but I'm not going to. And then I'm going to do my decorative stitch over the top of my pocket. You can't go wrong doing this. Just have fun with it. It's almost like thatching. How fun this is. And our beautiful back is done. So we just did 2 rows across our back there. And our front pocket is on. Doesn't that look cool? It's got like this, as much as it's deconstructed, it's constructed. And then we did the sleeves. So our sleeves have that join. And then on this sleeve, we added just a fun, on a sleeve it's always fun to do because you're going across the sleeve, so it travels from one side to the next. It's a fun sleeve. Okay. So our next stage of this is doing the shoulders. In the original one, I did raw edges on the shoulders. In this version, we are going to do it right sides together and then top stitch. Here we have our finished white version of our Jammah caftan. And it's so delightful and so interesting. This hasn't been garment washed. And you know, you pre-wash your linen and then sew it up, and then you're going to wash, because you've cut this all, you know, it's all nicely cut, you're going to garment wash it again so that you get all the fuzzies. And this is this version where we stitched the side seam and the arm on the outside. This one, we finished the seam. We did a finished seam and just top stitched. It's all about stitching. So, isn't that delightful? I love it. And you can wear anything underneath. You can wear a sugar slip. You could wear any of our slips. It reminded me of one of our slips, and I believe this was in Cycle 1. This slip is the magpie slip, and it's in Cycle 1. There it is. And in the stitching, we show you how to do some back and forth stitching, which is really fun. And there's a lot of pinch stitching in here too. I'll have to do a workshop on that alone. So that really is a very cute piece. You can make it in another color and throw it under your cardigan. So you've got a sleeveless piece, and you can make the piece underneath could be really full in a voile. This is lovely over the Priscilla slip, sugar slip, the Jolene slip, the Tia slip. This is sort of a sister garment to the Tia overlay, except it's more structured and it has this great detail. So very easy make. I really wanted to show this in a fleece. This is a jersey fleece, like a sweatshirt. And it's made, you know, we did this top stitching piece here. It's basically an insert and a facing, so that we have this raw edged linen on the edge. We did the sleeves, that's how they look. And now we're going to stitch the other sleeve on and the side seams. And in this case, we're going to stitch the side seams on the outside. So I'm excited to see how this looks. The back looks terrific. And it's a little bit longer. So I want it to be just more like a little bit of a coat, but not really. It's like a sweatshirt, so you can wear this inside. The patterns in this workshop are just so great. This has a similar shape to the Michaela, except it doesn't have the yoke. So we do the pockets, and they're higher up. And on this piece, we did a lot of zigzag stitching as a decorative piece. This fabric is amazing. And you can wear it underneath something like this, or look how wonderful that is, with your little slip underneath. Really great pair of pants, elastic waist, and a hem. And you can adjust the width of the pants to your liking. And here we have our fleece. Beautiful. Looks so good. And it's just a sweatshirt fabric. Very nice. You can roll up the cuffs. We did the seam on the outside. This stuff doesn't raw, it's not so raw edge, but this linen is going to raw edge and be fringy once we've washed it. And the stripe on the arm just adds a little flavor. So same piece, 3 completely different looks. This is a really good usable pattern. Like you could hack it in very many ways. So along the theme of the sweatpant or the sweatshirt family, we made the pants in the t-shirt or the sweatshirt fabric. You can see the beautiful pockets. What I did was I cut a cotton so that it wouldn't be so bulky for the facing of the pocket. So you can just see a little bit. I used the same fabric for the elastic channel because I didn't want the, you know how sweatpants can be kind of bulky in the waist? That lessens it. And we top stitched the very edge and down below. And then the pant is wide. You don't have to sew it so wide. And then we made cuffs. So we have our cuff and we sewed it. There's many ways to make cuffs. And the cuff is shorter than the width of the pant. So you can see how much shorter it is. So when you stitch it on, you're going to stretch the cuff so that it meets the pant. You're also going to pin it, turn it upside down so your ridge is on the top, and you're going to put it over the right side of the pant, and then you're going to pin on one side and then stretch the cuff. I can grab it. Where'd it go? Oh, it's not even on the pant. And then you put it on the opposite side of the leg so that it's even. And you pin it there. Then you could pin it on the other sides just to make sure your cuff's going to be even. And then it's going to give this kind of effect, which is really fun. The pins on each side of the cuff and then on the 2 other sides. So you have 4 equal parts. Put the pins in the same places on the pants. The cuff is narrower, so she's putting the cuff on the right side of the pant, and she's pinning where those matching those pins up on the pant leg. It's actually almost effortless with the sweatshirt fabric because there is stretch in that jersey net. She stretches it so that she meets the pins and all the way around. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I love these pants, and they're fantastic in the fleece with the cuff. Very fun. And our black and white cardigans with the contrast stitching. And remember, you don't have to do it just plain like this. You can cut this and make a little even hem it, and there's enough just slightly to put a couple of buttons or one button, which could be really cool because this piece does go over your head, and some people don't like that. And I love all the top stitching in that Raggedy Ann fashion, back and forth, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.